Timing us in.
Hello, everyone. I know, right? Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Women's MTB Network podcast. It's been a minute since we've been with y'all. There's been a lot going on this summer. We've had some amazing times at bike parks, just like our next guest, Fran Dawson, all the way from the UK. We've been chatting for a little while. I've been following her progression for a long time. This woman kicks some butt on the mountain bike. You guys have to follow her. I'm going to let her come on. And without any further ado, Fran, welcome. Thank you for being here. I really, really appreciate you taking your time
No, thank you
to
for having
chat
me on.
with us. So we were just talking a second ago, and you said that you are a professional full-time fun haver. Is
That
that
is
right?
true. That is now my full-time occupation as of last Wednesday.
What do you do? What do you do to have fun? Is it just mountain bikes?
Literally, I live and breathe bikes, so any opportunity that I get to go out on a bike, that's just where I'm going to be. Rain
That's
or
what you do.
shine, that's what I do.
What is your bike of choice at the moment? What are you riding the most right now?
At the moment, literally my downhill bike, because it's been summer, I've been traveling, so that is the weapon of choice at the moment.
I love that, the weapon of choice. I've seen a few videos. Y'all, I'm also going to put links to all of Fran's stuff. She's got a kick-ass YouTube video. She's on Instagram, YouTube channel, should I say. And you need to follow some of her adventures. You did something on your new bike recently. I remember watching the video. Where was it? And you were talking about your bike. Can you tell us a little bit about your bike? Because there's a lot of folks in the US that are not familiar with that bike.
Oh, with Orange Bikes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so basically they're a UK-based manufacturer. So they've been established for years and they manufacture all their own bikes in their factory in the UK. So literally from start to finish, from a sheet of aluminium right up until all the decals, it's all done in-house. The only thing they outsource is the product testing. So like just to test the durability of the frames. So obviously that's a non-biased thing, but they're honestly incredible. Like, I'm not just saying that because I ride for them, but it's hands down the best bike I've sat on. It's so much fun. I love it. All of them.
Yeah. They do look like they make killer bikes and all different kinds of bikes, not just downhill bikes at all, which is amazing. The bike you're
Yeah.
on right now, what's the travel on that baby?
So I've got three of them at the moment. So I've got
Oh,
my,
no big deal.
I know I'm so lucky. Like, I'm genuinely blessed to ride for them. They're such a nice company. But yeah, so I've got my downhill bike. That one's 203 at the front, 198 at the back. So she's a big girl.
Wow.
Then my trail bike, the Alpine Evo, that one is 27.5-inch wheels, 150mm travel at the back, 160 at the front. So good all
That's
rounder.
pretty solid. Yeah, enduro style. What I have,
And
but
then,
really.
yeah, that is perfect. And then the e-bike is an absolute weapon. So that's 170 at the back, 180 at the front, 27.5. So it's like basically a downhill park bike with a motor. It's amazing. It's so
Wait,
much
so
fun.
it's 27 front and back, or is it mixed wheel, the e-bike?
The only one that I've got that's mixed wheel at the minute is the downhill bike. So, but
Ooh.
that's perfect for park. Like, it's just such a nice mixture of both. Like, it's got the rollover at the front, but the back end is nice and swishy.
Ooh, I'm so excited to show people some videos of you riding it. It's so amazing. Like, I recently just got a mixed wheel bike and I'm curious to test it out for the first time this weekend.
You're
It's going
gonna
to be
love it.
pretty sweet. This summer, you had an amazing adventure with Emma. I don't know how to pronounce her handle. Is a mermaid?
Mermaider.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the two look like you had an amazing time out there. Where'd y'all hit? What parks did you guys go to?
Oh, we went literally everywhere. It was such a blur. Everyone's like, "Did you have a nice holiday?" I'm like, I can't really class it as a holiday, but it was amazing. So we went to, where did we go? So we started out, I picked her up from an airport in London. We then drove over to France. We went to Morzine Bike Park, Châtel, Leger. We went to Champre in Switzerland, Bernex
God.
in France. Then we also went to Pila in Italy. Had a day out in Venice as a rest day, but we
Oh,
just,
there's a rest day in Venice. No big deal.
yeah, we didn't really do much resting. We ran around for the whole day. Um, then from there we drove to Austria, where we rode Schladming, which hands down one of the best bike parks in Europe that I've ridden. It's so much fun.
Really?
Yeah,
How
incredible.
how long were you guys there for?
We were there for we had 2 full days riding there, and we rode pretty much 2 tracks the entire time. Um, we
Wow.
we
Just like
went we
lapping it over and over again.
because we was trying to find a good jump trail like the whole trip,
Mm,
and on the last place that we went to go riding, there was one called 99 Jump Line, and I'm supposed to be being careful at the moment with my shoulder. I'm not technically
ooh,
supposed to be riding, but we rode
ooh.
that track. I don't know how many times. We just got excited and stayed on it all day for 2 days.
That's absolutely amazing. Well, wait, so you got a shoulder injury? What's going on?
Yeah, so back in March, I it's not even a cool story. So I hit a fence post and crashed onto a fire road. And
Ooh,
there is a video of it on my Instagram. But so I
I
literally
have your
rode.
Instagram open.
Yeah, if you scroll down, it's a picture of me like this next to a like a tree stump post thing.
Okay.
But what happened, I was doing a race with some friends and we were on the way back down to the van, and they were like, "Oh, we'll just have a chilled run back to the van, we've done our practice." I was like, "Oh, all right then." So I went to go around the jumps because I was like, "Oh, we're just riding back to the van." And I was doing
Yeah.
about 15 miles an hour, didn't and I was leaning the bike in to go back into the track,
Yeah.
didn't see this like post stump thing there and rode straight into my front brake. So
Oh,
I detached my collarbone from my shoulder, had
no,
a
you didn't.
yeah, I had a grade 5 dislocation, so they had to
Girl.
fix it. Yeah, they left it dislocated for a month as well because there were doctor strikes in the UK. So that
Oh
was
my God. How
yeah,
long did they leave it dislocated for?
it was a month, and then yeah, it sucks. It was so
I
bad.
mean, could you even do anything? Like, you couldn't move it. I imagine the pain was just
It
immense.
so funnily enough, like after a week when the swelling and everything had subsided, it only hurt if I tried to use it. I
Oh.
couldn't lift it past sort of there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but that's fine because I could drive because I could like reach my gear stick. But
It's important.
but yeah, so I couldn't ride or anything. Then I had surgery, and basically they put metal work. So what they did is they cut the end of my collarbone off. They put an artificial ligament on the bone underneath, wrapped it around the top, and I've got a screw drilled diagonally through my collarbone.
Oh, you
So
poor
this
thing.
the surgeon basically said to me, he was like, "You're not going to be able to do bikes this summer." He was like, "It'll be September before you get back on a bike, and
Oops.
yeah, you won't be able to fall on it until you've had the screw out of your shoulder because it'll right off your collarbone." Basically, that's why I've been being kind of sensible ish.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. Okay. Sensible is subjective because I'm seeing all these kick-ass shots of you like jumping everywhere. Like, give me
I'm.
a break.
It's only when like if I'm feeling super confident one day and I'm like, I've got that in the bag, I'll do it. But I think when you're doing stuff like that, your focus is on such high alert that it's like if you're feeling that way, it's going to be fine. Whereas if you're like, oh, I'm not sure, probably not the day to like hit it.
Yeah.
But
Well, that kind of goes to something I was going to ask you. So, injury, right? Like all of us have been through some type of injury, whether it's one like yours or just a fall as you're learning to do a skill or
yeah,
something. How did you get back on the bike and overcome that? Because that's kind of a gnarly injury to have. Anything for surgery, I think, is pretty gnarly.
yeah, for sure.
So what was your mental state like going into like park season?
So I mean, I was really fortunate. I had an extremely good physio that I
Oh,
went
good.
to, who made sure that I was super strong, and he was like, "You'll be fine to get back on a bike." And yeah, he made sure that I was the strongest I could be with my injury the way it was.
Okay, that's
And
good.
then, so to start with, like I was just that excited to be back on a bike. It didn't cross my mind one bit. But
That's
then
awesome.
as I started to do more and more stuff that I normally would do, there was definitely a mental battle there where I was like, oh, I really, and I still get it where I'm like, I still can't crash. But
Yeah.
I think the more time I spend out on the bike and the more to be honest, the more fun I have and the more I surround myself with like people that are just like having a good time and like, I don't know, like aren't making a big deal out of a feature, you kind of feel more like,
Yeah.
oh, I can do it because no one's saying that's scary, so I'll just follow them off it.
Yeah. I mean, especially someone you trust that you ride with a lot, just follow their
That's it.
line and you're good.
Well, it's like with Emma when we were out on our trip. So I know full well Emma's not going to put me in a dangerous situation. She probably knows my skill set better than me. So I know
Yeah.
if she says, oh, you've got that,
Yeah.
I'll just be like, oh, well, okay, give us a lead then.
See, that's key too, like having a buddy or a friend or a partner, whoever that can
Yeah.
knows exactly, you hit it on the head, is knows your skill set. Because a lot of us women, like for example, I have a friend of mine, she just started into mountain biking and her partner's been riding for a long time. Sometimes he just wants to help her out with everything and she still gets like a little scared though, even though he
Yeah.
knows her skill set. This weekend I was riding with the lady out in Bentonville and she was saying that first time she was in Bentonville, her boyfriend told her to just pull up.
Oh, no.
Excuse me. And that's usually what the advice some people get. It's like, oh, you'll be fine, just pull up. And that's a recipe for disaster. Like she broke her
Yeah.
shin, like she had all these issues. Yeah, she
She
still
broke
has
her
some scars.
shin.
It's like, yeah, 4 years later, she like, it was gnarly. Um, but I guess what advice would you have for women who are kind of new to the sport and want to find like a buddy to ride with? What should they look for in that person, that support person, you know?
Genuinely, just, do you know what? I found Instagram a really good tool.
Yeah.
And like, because you see people on there and you get inspired by them, but then they're all people behind the screen and like people that love the sport as much as you. So like
Yeah.
there's no harm in just sending someone a message, especially if you see that you ride similar places. And but yeah, I think the more you kind of get out there and like I've moved around quite a lot and each place I've found like everyone seems to be in the same mindset when you go to these places. Like everyone's just out for a
Yeah.
good time and having fun and you get to know like who your crowd are going to be, if that makes sense, you know, like,
Yeah. 100%.
and
You get to kind of feel out who you're riding with, right?
yeah, that's it. And like, I think if you genuinely bounce off each other and you just end up being good friends, like you support each other in that way anyway, don't you? So
Yeah.
that's quite nice.
100%. If people want to ride with you, can they hit you up on Instagram if you're riding and you're local?
Yeah.
Is that a thing you
Yeah,
do?
of course, 1,000%. Just give me a message. I'm happy to ride with anyone and everyone.
God, I want to make it to Europe next year. Well, I'm going to Europe, but it's not for mountain biking. But I want to go for mountain biking because it just looks spectacular.
You definitely should. Like, I want to go over to America and mountain bike as well. It looks insane.
Yeah, you can come here anytime. I have a spare room. You're welcome to stay here.
Amazing.
You can't bring your e-bike though, but I'm sure you can bring your big girl, the
Oh yeah.
203 mil travel double crown fork. How much does that thing weigh, by the way? Do you know?
No, it's really light. Everyone,
What?
so because it's an aluminium bike, everyone's like, oh my God, that's going to be so heavy. Like when I go to
Yeah.
bike parks and stuff, because sometimes like people that are working there, like will lift it off the trailer for me and they're like, you see them go to really kind of grimace to pull it off. And then they're like, poof. I'm like, see, just because it's Ali, it doesn't mean it's not light.
That's right. We'll have to do like a separate thing, or maybe we could do like a quick bike check on your bike too. I know you did a
Yeah, of course.
video on it, and I like I said earlier, I'll put the link for everyone on here to go check out all of her amazing stuff. But the bike is really beautiful. It's such
It's
a beautiful
gorgeous.
bike. What made you want to get into more like parks? Have you ever always ridden parks, or did you start riding like trails or?
So it's kind of a funny story.
Let's do
So
it.
my my ex-partner got me into mountain biking. Like we decided one day that we were going to go to a local trail center. We rented some bikes and like immediately I was hooked. I loved it.
Yeah.
And within a month I bought my own bike. I haven't looked back ever since. I was just like, yep, this is what I want to do. This is my thing now. I love this.
That's amazing.
But he was like, he didn't really want, we were very, very different people. We were together for 10 years and like we grew
Oh
apart in the
wow.
end. But he was very much just liked his local area, liked going for a ride on a Saturday, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. But
Right.
we did the same thing week in and week out. And then I ended up making some other friends that in the local bike park because I started riding on a Sunday as well as a Saturday because I was like,
As you do.
I just wanted to. And
Yeah.
yeah, like the guys that I was riding with were so good at riding park and filled me with so much confidence and taught me loads of things. And I was just hooked. And I was like, I don't want to ride tech or pedal very much. It's like downhill is life. Off I
Yeah.
go to the bike parks. So
Yeah.
yeah, literally when me and my ex-partner broke up, um, I went to Canada
Mm-hmm.
like a few months later
Mm-hmm.
and made some friends for life, and I've never really looked back since. That's where I met Emma, actually, funnily enough.
Was over in Canada riding
Yeah,
some
yeah.
trails.
Yeah, we were in Whistler last year at the same time. Yeah, we'd do park laps together, go to the lake, go sit in the hot tub, eat Ben and Jerry's. It was perfect.
That's the life. That
That
is
is the life.
literally the life right there.
Yeah, it's perfect.
You're mountain biking, you're hanging with your friends, you're relaxing, and you're eating ice cream. Like, that's all I want out of life.
That is,
Seriously.
I would die happy if I could do that every day.
For me, I found though, this is my first year actually doing parks. And even then, I wasn't able to do as much as I wanted. Like, I built the bike specifically for like an entry park thing. It's not a double crown fork, but the bike is phenomenal. It just wants to
Yeah,
jump, it just wants to like lift all the time. But I was really sore. My legs,
yeah,
my core, my like people don't understand just how tough it is because you're always in that standing position. You always have to be ready. Like the next day, my body was like, "You ain't no, you're not riding today.
you're not
Like
doing anything.
sit yourself down." I wish I had a jacuzzi. I wish I could
They
just sit
help.
like.
That was the first time I'd ever had a hot tub after like a day in the park, and it worked.
Did
A
it
bit of
really?
cold water therapy in the lake, then jump in the hot tub to balance it out. Jobs are
Yeah,
given. Perfect.
yeah, yeah. That's true. So fun time full haver. I have that written down over here. I keep going back to that. So in the UK, there's a reputation that the trails, there is no trails, right? It's flat unless you follow some guys that do some crazy stuff out there. Where do you normally go to ride in the UK? You're 2 hours north of London, is that right? New Forest?
I'm kind of in the south, like so
Oh,
you've got
south. Okay.
London's southeast, and then like Cornwall is southwest, and then I'm kind of bang in the middle of that. But it's kind of good where I am because I'm about 2.5 hours drive from quite a few good bike parks. So
Nice.
I mean, there's a lot of them are push up. So the hills aren't very big; they're like a minute long, but what they put on them is quite good in some places. So the best bike park I would say for park riding in the UK would be Dirt Farm in South Wales.
Dirt
It,
farm.
yeah,
Ooh.
it's so good.
Okay. Dirt
And
farm.
and then
Is
there's
that your go-to?
if I had a choice of anywhere to go in the UK for a day out and it was dry, I'd go
And it was dry, key
there.
words,
Hands
famous
down.
last words.
Yeah, because it's so Dirt Farm doesn't run overly great in the wet, so they close some of the jump lines in the wet
Oh,
because it's kind of it gets a bit muddy and claggy.
yeah.
But there's Duffy Bike Park that's in North Wales. That's really good as well. So that's got some huge jumps. But obviously
Duffy Bike
being
Park. Okay.
yeah, being in the UK, sometimes it's windy and wet.
I mean, you would think it's always wet. It's always raining in the UK.
But sometimes we do have like really dry spells sometimes. Like we had the driest September up to yesterday. Now it's rubbish, but up until then it was really good.
Okay, so 2.5 hours from various bike parks, which is absolutely amazing. That's kind of perfect because then you can go anywhere you
Yeah.
want for the day, even, right? So they're not shuttle parks. They're usually you pedal like an enduro style. You pedal to the top type of thing.
So Dirt Farm, you actually go up on the back of a tractor,
Nice. Okay.
which is
Anywhere to get up
sick.
there.
That's
That's pretty
really good.
cool.
Yeah, they have like a tractor and trailer. And then
Amazing.
Duffy Bike Park, they are shuttle as well, so they've got Land Rovers with trailers on the back, and yeah, so we don't. There's only one bike, no, two bike parks in the UK that have ski lifts,
Okay.
and
Oh,
they're
interesting.
up in Scotland. So there's
Scotland.
yeah, like right north. I think it's about 10-hour drive from me.
I would never have thought it was the Lift Park in Scotland, honestly.
Yeah, so
I don't
that's
know
where
why.
Fort William, where they do the World Cup.
Oh, that's right. Duh, Mia.
Yeah,
Oh my God, I totally had a brain fart right now.
it's almost like I don't class it as being in the UK because it's so far away, but it is
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's kind of like Canada for me, super far away, although it's like 3 states up. We want
Yeah,
to go there next year.
Canada's amazing. I want to go back next year as well. In fact,
When was the
no,
last time you were in Canada?
last summer. So what year was it last year? 2023.
20.
No, was it 20? That's this year. 2022. I was there.
I know, I'm already in 24 mode. I was doing something for
So
work the other day and I was like, wait, is it 23 or 24? Like, what is happening? It's already at the end of September. I don't know what's happening with life at the moment. Everything's gone so quickly.
it's crazy. Yeah, this year's absolutely flown by. Like I've done so much when I wasn't supposed to do very much at all. So it's been really good.
Um, well, so have you told your doctor that you were writing? Or does he or she follow you on Instagram?
I
Like,
will. So the anaesthetist follows me on YouTube, I think.
oh
But
no.
so I went into I was so smug walking into that hospital because I went for a follow-up appointment because I've got to have the metal work out of my shoulder, I think, in the next month and a half.
Yep.
I've got another appointment. But I walked in there, he was like, so he was like, how is it healing? And I was like, put my arms above my head. I was like, it's feeling great. I've just been on a big Europe road trip. So he was like, oh, okay. He was like, did you manage to ride your bike? I was like, yep.
Yep. Yes, I did.
Yeah, yeah,
I have
nailed it.
no issues at all, Doc.
Yeah, he was like, have you been being careful though? I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
kind of, a little bit
When
careful.
sorry, did you say when you're gonna get that out?
Yeah, so I've got a follow-up appointment on the 1st of November.
Okay.
So it's probably a couple of weeks after that, but I have spoken to them about recovery time and apparently it's not as long.
Oh,
So
good.
yeah, which is really good news because I didn't want another huge recovery period and like it's just
I
long, isn't
mean,
it?
March through to you started writing in June, 3 months. That's not bad, even though you're not technically supposed to be writing. But you
Well,
know.
I got back on a bike after 4 weeks. I've just
Oh, the truth comes out.
yeah, so I was pedaling on a flat path gently after 4 weeks. After 6 weeks, my physio said you can try a slightly bumpier track with a little bit more gradient, but not a full-on like track. So I went to Bike Park Wales and rode the Blues. I figured that was
Okay.
a good compromise.
Okay.
And then I
I mean,
entered a race
sure.
after yeah. Then I entered a race after 8 weeks, I think, 8 or 9 weeks.
Wow, dude, that's insane. That's
Yeah.
absolutely insane. I want to show you guys, if you're watching this on YouTube, I want to show you all. Let me share my screen here. Some of Fran's amazing stuff on YouTube and Instagram. Let's go to her Instagram first because this is just I can't, like, the jumps and the things this woman does is absolutely insane. I don't know if my screen isn't showing right now. You can't see it, right? Because I can't see it.
I can't see it yet. Oh,
Oh,
there
there
we
it
go.
goes. All right. So, oh my goodness. No big deal. Look at this. What is happening right now? No big deal. What is that, like a 30-foot drop?
I
15
don't know.
meters?
It
20
was
meters?
quite large. I did scream when I went off it though.
Did you?
I screamed when I went off it and then I screamed when I landed and said I'm alive. But I still did it.
The adrenaline. The adrenaline. When
Yeah,
was this?
that was in Whistler last summer, that one was. So do you know
Oh,
what? That drop was it was big, but it was probably one of the like easier ones that I did in the park because it was so wide, like the run-in was so wide and the exit was so like long.
yeah.
It was just being able to channel my you can do this for enough time to get me off the end of it.
Look at that. Was this summer? This was this summer, wasn't it? Yep.
This was like 2 weeks ago. Yeah,
You would.
that's the Bull Track Bike Park. That's a really cool place to session.
You would never know that this girl's got a plate in her shoulder that needs to be taken out anytime soon. This is incredible. So this is the two of you, you and Emma, doing your
So
travels around the world.
this is so this is our other friend that we met out there. She's her partner also rides for Orange bikes. So it was
Yep,
really nice to meet up. So that was Regina.
that's amazing. Oh, here's your day off in Venice that we were talking about. No big deal.
That was nice.
We're going to Venice next year, my wife and I, for our 10-year wedding anniversary. That's like a
It's
gift to ourselves.
a really nice place to visit.
Right? It looks beautiful. Where is this at right here?
So that's Champering, Switzerland.
Oh,
The tracks there
that,
were crazy steep. I did have a little bit of a meltdown on my first run, but we got over
did you
ourselves.
really? Okay, do you know what the grade was there? Like the steepest grade you guys were at?
It was a World Cup track that we ended
Ooh.
up on. So, like, honestly, those downhill riders are insane. I was just about making it down it, and they go so fast.
Yeah, I can't. Also, your name is amazing. Your handle is OnlyFrans. The first time I saw yours, I was like, I had to do a double take for a second.
Yeah, yeah,
How
that's
did you
was
come up
quite.
with that?
Well, it started out. I've had that name for years. So one of my friends said it as a joke one day, and was like, "Oh, I bet you won't change your Instagram name to that." And I was like, "I bet I will." And it's been there ever since. But I don't
It's like
actually
a
have an.
brand now.
Yeah, it's like I don't have an OnlyFans. Like nothing against anyone that does, but I don't.
Yeah.
But it's a cool name.
Yeah, I figured it was just a play off of that, which is awesome. Look at that double crown fork on there. Oh my goodness. You are one brave woman. I wish I could do stuff like this. But we've got some good stuff here in California too. Like if you can come to Mammoth and Tahoe and even down here at Summit. I mean, it's no Aspen, sorry, it's no what do you call it? Why am I Whistler, it's no Whistler, but it's still a fun time. I'm
Yeah,
trying to
I
find that post when you
love just coming
crashed.
and seeing different bike parks anyway. Oh, that's this one here. So the one in the middle, that's my crash. Yeah.
Here we go.
So it's a follow cam. One of my friends is coming down the track after me, and you just see me as a dot
Yeah.
in the distance there. I go round the jump, hit the post.
Oh my goodness. You poor thing.
Yeah. It
Oh
was,
God.
I didn't want to get straight up though, because I had my open face helmet on, I heard a really loud pop and crack right next to my ear. And I didn't, honestly, I thought it was my neck. That's why you'll see in the video, I put my leg over my other leg to make sure I can move
Yeah.
them. And yeah, then I gradually got up. But
I'm so glad that it wasn't more serious though, because you're right. It could have been
yeah,
something way gnarlier. Yeah, I see you've
yeah, for
got your leg
sure.
up. Yeah.
It's always
That's
when you
insane.
like aren't paying attention there. I was not paying one bit of attention when I went down that track. I was on the way back to my van. Well, it wasn't. I was with my friend. I was going back to my friend's van. I was thinking about
Yeah.
the Lucozade I had in there. I wasn't thinking about where I was going.
That's the lesson, people. Always look where you're going on a mountain bike.
Yeah, don't
It's
get
the first thing they
distracted.
teach you. Exactly. All right, so let's share with the folks at home some of the YouTube content because also I think it's absolutely
Yeah,
legendary and
I only
hilarious.
started the YouTube like 2 months ago now, and I absolutely love it. It's so much fun making long form content.
Yeah, and you're getting so many good reviews, so much good feedback on here. Look at all
Yeah,
this stuff. Oh, they see you do have a bike check. I knew I watched this.
yeah, because
I knew I
originally I was kind of worried about uploading to it because I don't know if it was just a new platform. I was just like, oh no, I might get loads of hate on there. But everyone's been so nice, and then I was like, oh, why was I even worried?
No, and we need more content from women on there, honestly. Like, we really do need more content from women. I'm super, super glad that you're on here. So, for any of y'all listening, you can go to YouTube at Fran Dawson. That's Dawson. And you can also find that stuff on her Instagram as well. She's got everything linked, and I will have everything linked in the description so you guys can find her on there. But this is, yeah, you're. Can you come and ride and teach me some things, please?
I'd
Teach
love
me
to
how to
come and
jump.
ride with you.
So what are your goals for next year? So you're going to get that thing off your shoulder. Recovery time hopefully not as long. What's January like in the UK to ride? Can you even like
Horrendous. It's all it's all right. Well, I'm hopefully, fingers crossed, all being well. I'd like to go over and see Emma in New Zealand for go ride with her, stay over there for a bit, get away from winter for a month or two.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, next year I'd love to go back to Canada, travel around a bit more. And yeah, like biking wise, I really want to do sick whips. That's the goal for 2024, sick whips.
Have you been practicing that?
Yeah, so I was trying them a little bit more when I was out in Europe, and I had a couple of like okay ones. Bearing in mind I'm supposed to be being kind of careful.
Yeah,
So,
true.
but I got a couple sideways, and yeah, I was like, yeah, that felt great. I was
It's
so
way
happy.
harder. Some people make it
Yeah,
look super easy, but it's super difficult.
yeah, it's like all my friends are like, well, a couple of the guys that I ride with are like, it's just a feeling, you'll know when you get it. I'm like, that's just the most wishy-washy advice I've ever received.
That's just like pull up,
Yeah,
you
I
got
know.
this.
It's just a feeling, Fran. It's just a feeling.
It's
All right.
just great teachers.
Yeah, I know. I need someone to break it down for me a little bit more than that.
Okay, so whips. I'm looking forward to next summer, seeing you do some gnarly
Yeah,
whips over in New Zealand. Well, this summer, really, because it's our winter's their summer, because I'm from Australia, so I know
yeah,
like everything is reversed
yeah.
over there. Um, okay, whipping. That's a good one. I like that. And here's one. I always ask people this question. What is the best, worst advice that you've gotten when it comes to mountain biking? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's so horrible. It's so bad that it's the best one.
Lean back. Don't do that. Never do that.
And for those of you non-mountain bikers, because I have some friends and family that listen to this, lean back means when you're going off a drop or a jump, or even just like a roller and someone tells you to lean your body back. That's not, no, you don't do that ever at
No,
all.
please don't. If anybody gives you that advice, please don't listen to it.
Ask someone else. I'm sure there's someone else on the trail
You
that'll
might
give
end
you
up with a
better
bad
advice.
shoulder like mine.
Yes. I'm so glad you didn't hurt yourself right now, girl, because that, oh. Do you know a lot of groups in the UK that you ride with? Like when you started riding, did you have connections with other groups or clubs or something like that?
No, I'm genuinely, I'm blessed. I feel so fortunate. Like everywhere I've been, I've met such lovely people and just been really lucky, I think. But I've lived in Cornwall, I've lived in Southampton, I've lived in West Yorkshire, and I've just got to know loads of different people through it, and obviously through Instagram and things like that as well. I
Yeah.
think naturally you all just chat on there, and then you bump into each other in a bike park, and you're like, "Oh, I know you from the internet. Let's go and do a lap," and
Yeah.
that's just how it goes. But
That's the
yeah,
coolest thing about this community is that I've met so many people in person over the summer that I've just connected with online. And I feel like I know them just because we've connected online and we chat and we follow each other. And it's
that's
like
it.
seeing that person and riding with them is really cool. So,
It's
you
awesome,
know,
and
go
I
ahead.
don't know that you get. I don't know that you get a lot of other sports like that. Like genuinely, where you speak to so many people and you're all of the same mindset, and you all are just so
Yeah.
stoked on bikes. To the point where wherever you then go in the world, you're likely going to bump into someone and like ride with them. It's the coolest sport. I don't know why more people don't do it, really.
I know. And I'm so glad there's more women coming in. Like I saw a statistic over the weekend that said women represent 46.2% of mountain bikers. Like that is a
That's
lot
so
of
good.
women. And I'd love to get more metrics on how it's grown since COVID, since at least 2019, 2020, because it's gotten huge. Um,
Yeah,
but I could believe it. And, there isn't a lot of stuff out there for us. So I'm super glad that more women are becoming aware of this. More women are getting on bikes. And it doesn't matter your age. You know, as long
No,
as you're having a good time, or how fast you ride or what you ride, if you're on a bike, you're having a good time, that is all that matters.
that's literally it. Like you could literally, I feel like when you're all riding bikes together, you're all the same age anyway. Like
Yeah.
I ride with such a variety of age groups that it's like genuinely, I don't think about it one bit. It's like you're all
Yeah.
just kids,
You are, and
big
there's that
kids.
same adrenaline. We all feel the same adrenaline, regardless of what feature we're doing, what lines we're doing, because we're all at a
Yeah,
different level. You know, I rode with this lady about 3 weekends ago, and she was like, "Man, you're really fast. I couldn't keep up with you." And I'm like, "That's okay. You don't have to keep
yeah,
up with me. Did you have a good time? Did you do the features you wanted?" She's
that's
like,
it.
"Yeah." And I was like, "Sweet, dude. That's all that matters."
I think as well, another thing that people should be aware of is like if somebody's a better rider than you, don't let that put you off riding with them because everyone is so supportive. Everyone's been exactly where you've been and knows the kind of mental struggles you're going through. So if someone's better than you
Yeah.
and you've just hit a feature that's half of the size, they're going to be probably twice as stoked as you because you've done it
hundred
because
percent.
they know.
Yeah, that's so true. And I feel that I've progressed a lot, at least in the last 3 years. And it's because I've ridden with people that are better than me.
Yeah,
And having to get over that mental, what you just said of like, they're not going to be judging you. They're not going to, they just want to ride with you. And that's how you
yeah,
get better, is riding with people that are better than
100%. Yeah,
you. You follow their lines, you see what they do, you do some whips.
yeah, exactly. Because whips are just always really cool. They're never going to
So,
stop being cool.
would you ever want to come over here and ride like over in Utah? Are you that much of a free rider where you do that crazy stuff too?
I don't
You
think
know,
I'd do any of the cliff jumping stuff, but I'd love to hit a few jumps, maybe.
I don't think there are a lot of people in the world that would do some of those
No,
cliff jumping. There's insane.
some
There's a
of
selected group of people.
the lines are wild, actually. And then they do like flips over canyons.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to flip a canyon anytime soon.
Again, I don't think anyone
No,
would. Not a lot of people would.
in my
That's
dreams.
yeah. You dream about whipping it as you're like going over the canyon, doing like a backflip.
Yeah, love it.
That's some of the things, like we were chatting earlier about the whole Red Bull Rampage shenanigans that's going on. Like there's a lot of misogyny out there with some of these guys online, and not all of them. There are a few. We do have a lot of really good support from boys and men and everyone out there who want to see ladies riding. But I think even the people that criticize it wouldn't do it, and these ladies
No,
that ride would. You know, so it's like the boys that are sitting there criticizing women. It's like, okay, they're willing to do it. Are you willing to get up there and get off those cliffs and do those tricks
they
and progress your
they
riding?
definitely won't.
Don't think so. Don't think so at all. Um, so okay, let's see. We did the best worst advice. That's one of my favorite things to talk
I
about, is
like
the
that
best
one.
worst advice. Pull up, because that one just gets the best. Here in the US, one of the big things in culture for mountain biking is like the van life, right? Like going around in your van, hitting up all these places. You have a sweet little van here that you're riding in.
Yeah, my little yellow banana butter
Your little,
stick.
yeah,
I love it.
it's so cool.
I love
It's so
my
cool.
little van.
You
I'd
did. You recently did like a video on that. That looks okay. I have to share this with you guys. Sorry, Fred. Go ahead if you wanted to talk about
no, I
it.
think do you mean the Mercedes bouncing one?
Yes.
Yeah. So backstory.
Yes, please.
I was on TikTok and I kept seeing this video of all the bouncing Mercedes, and I was like, oh, I want to go and test drive one. I really do, just to have a go in this bouncing thing. And I messaged my friend Tyler, who's in the back of the van. I was
Yeah.
like, mate, can you just help me with something? He was like, this is, whenever you ask me to do something like this, it's really weird. Of course, I'm keen. So, so we got the camera out, and I was like, can you just bounce violently on the back of my van as I drive towards this camera, please? And he was like, yeah, sure.
I love it. Well, you made a bouncing car.
Yeah,
I didn't even
it
know
was.
that was a thing with Mercedes. I thought it was a joke. So they actually have a bouncing Mercedes?
Yeah, but it's a real thing because I googled it to see if I could go test drive one, but it turns out you need to be quite rich, and I'm not. But
Oh.
never
Yeah,
mind.
it's like the 1% of stuff, right? That's the only people they'll allow on there.
Yeah. But I've got a bouncing yellow van.
Yeah, that van
So
is pretty
that's good.
sick. That van is pretty sick. I like that van. Ooh, let's check out this video here. Oh, nice. Some more shenanigans with the two of you at bike parks.
Of course. I think this
Kind of
is
looked
my
like you did a little
baby.
mini whip.
Baby whips. Yeah, there we
Yeah,
go.
right there.
Loved
Come
it.
on. I can't wait until you're back in full force with that thing off your shoulder and you can feel more comfortable
Oh,
and,
me too.
really letting go.
That's it. I think that it'll take me to, obviously, once it's healed, I think once I've had a crash and I know it's okay, I think after that I'll be like, oh, okay, let's go.
See, but that's so interesting. Like some people they have an experience, they don't want to crash ever again. So it really messes with them. But I love that how you're overcoming it differently, where you're like, no, if I have a crash and I make it, I'm good. That means I didn't injure
Yeah,
myself more. I can get back up and keep riding, right?
that's
That's
it.
amazing that your outlook is like that. Have you always been that, like optimistic, or is it just with riding?
Yeah, I genuinely, I just think it is like that. Um, I think because I've had a few crashes now, and well, I say a few, I've crashed loads, so much, ridiculous amount, and I've only hurt myself properly, touch wood, twice, and that's doing silly things that you wouldn't necessarily think you're going to really hurt yourself on. Like
Mm-hmm.
whenever I think because every time that I've tried anything new, my focus has always been that high that I've come away from it fine. Like every time I have a crash, it's because I'm on my way back to the van and I'm hungry, or like there's a route and I've slipped on it, which is why we should all ride park. Um,
I like tech. I like tech.
no, tech's all right. I do enjoy a bit of tech, but yeah, park's where my heart's at. But I do enjoy a bit of tech at times, but I tend
That's
to crash
awesome.
on it. I crash on it a lot.
I hope you get to go to New Zealand because I want to follow that adventure. Like, I really want to ride in New Zealand too. I can only imagine the fun you would have in New Zealand.
It looks like such an incredible place. Like, how cool.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I mean, I would go to New Zealand in a heartbeat to
Yeah,
ride for sure.
100%.
Um, you're absolutely amazing, Fran. Thank you for taking the time and coordinating this with me. I know it's getting late in the UK, maybe, I think.
I don't know
And
what time it is. I've not
late
looked.
is subjective too. I mean, I go to bed at 9 o'clock. For some people, that's just getting started. So, I
If you're
mean,
awake at 5 a.m. though, that's a good bedtime.
yeah, I woke up at 5 a.m. I couldn't sleep. I just had so much stuff on my mind that I wanted to
Oh,
do on the website. There's this bunch of stuff we've got coming up that I'm working on. So, but yeah, thank you so much. You're amazing. Everyone, I'm going to leave all of Fran's information, whether you're listening on the podcast or you're watching this on YouTube or on our website. Everything's going to be there to contact her, ask her questions. Please go follow her, to subscribe to her YouTube, because this girl's absolutely amazing. And I cannot wait to see you whip it
thank you.
next year.
Oh, thank you for having me on. It's been lovely.
Have a good night and we'll talk soon.
I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Bye.